Alright, so this video is about adding social lubricant to a party. When you don't want to go into the ABC store or wherever you buy alcoholic beverages. So you go to Trader Joe's and you pick up some honey and some apple juice, and that costs you about $30. And that's 3.5 gallons. So it's a lot. It's pretty much. I mean, it's like a party for, maybe like 20 people at least. Maybe 15, 20, depending on how many people you have. So, you basically just dump all the apple juice into a vessel. Now, you can get that vessel at like a Primo water vessel thing. That, unfortunately, that would be like another $14, but maybe you can find somebody that's got like a water thing, and you don't have to buy that for yourself. I'm gonna have to put you a link on there for how to sanitize stuff if you don't have any regular sanitizer like Star San. So anyway, you dump, and in my case I dumped 3.5 gallons of apple juice in there, and I got 2 things of honey. Honey is 100% fermentable and will allow you to get a little bit higher kick to your cider. So you get all the honey in there, you get all the cider in there, and you shake it up. Now, shaking it is actually important, so remember this step, because what it does is it puts oxygen into the liquid, and by getting oxygen in there during the early phases of the when the yeast begins to work, it goes into like a phase where the yeast multiplies and creates a lot of yeast bodies, and that's goodness. So this is an optional step, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for folks that are just trying this out for the first time, but you could pour a little bit into a tube and you could test the specific gravity. And what this allows you to do, you don't have to do this, but what this allows you to do is tell you what your fermentables are, sort of a before and after, and by doing that you can calculate the alcohol content of your beverage. And in this case, it's like a 1050, which that's a nice when that ferments down, it'll be nice. So what I do here, this is yeast. Now you're gonna have to get this at a homebrew store, and you could use wild yeast if you wanted to. Just open it up to the air for a couple of days instead of putting this yeast in there. Just what you would do is you would like set it out on your deck or somewhere for a few days, and then close it up after that, and just hope that wild yeast gets in there and it's not horrific. You could get some really nasty tasting stuff, and you could turn into vinegar. If you want to be safe, what you do is you go to your homebrew store and you buy this packet. You don't have to be 21 or anything to buy the packet of yeast. Oh, did I say that? Never mind. Scratch. Anyway, so you get this pack. I'm making this video for my daughter, by the way, who's underage. So anyway, now there's a bucket of Star San. And Star San is something that kills bacteria pretty much on contact, and what it's good for is keeping things out. At this stage, bacteria out that makes something nasty tasting. So at this stage, it's not too worrisome, because we hope that the yeast will be so voracious that it won't care about a few bacteria here and there. In other words, that bacteria will lose, yeast will win, and your cider will taste nice. But since I have Star San, I use it, and I put this bubbler on. Now, if you don't have a bubbler, what you could do is just figure out a way to put some kind of a balloon over the top of it or something like that, and then release the CO2 that'll build up in the balloon periodically. Just keep on letting it out. What you're trying to do is keep the ambient air out. So, okay, a few days later, so it took a while for this to actually get fermenting, but in my case, I can see the bubbler bubbling, and I can see a layer of foam on the top, which is good. And the in your case, maybe if you used a balloon or something, you would see the balloon filling up. And so let me look at what I have for notes. So I called this Trader Joe's cider, TJ Spice Cider, because the cider already had spices in it. My original gravity was 1050 at 69 degrees, and you don't have to worry about this if you're not a home brewer or everything. My final gravity was 0.995, so it's less than water actually, because it's got some alcohol in there, and it attenuated very well, and so it ended up to be about 7.3 alcohol by volume, and I got about 12 liters worth of volume out of it. And so some various notes that I took during the process, and so I ended up with 2 3-liter bottles. And if you want to see how I moved this from the main fermentation vessel into this, you can check my other videos. This one I force carbonated, and I called it TJ Spice Cider. Oh, how original! And so here's a video of me tonight, actually, pouring a spice cider into a glass, and you can you don't have to. Now this is a sparkling cider, and for those of you just starting out, you don't have to make it a sparkling cider. There's no really big difference or whatever between the regular and sparkling ciders, but this one happens to be sparkling. And if you're just doing it for a party, you can have a non-sparkling spice cider, and it's just fine. Just chill it down and drink it. It'll be very nice. This is the other 6-liter that I made, and I put notice I took a balloon and put it over the top to make sure it wasn't leaking. So anyway, here's a review. You get some stuff from Trader Joe's, cost you about $30, and then you pour it into a big vessel. Then you throw a little bit of yeast in there. And hopefully you don't have to use the wild yeast, because you never know what you're going to get. But if you have to use wild yeast, it will work. You just might get a weird tasting cider. Shake it to add oxygen. Add a bubbler or a balloon. So I'm encouraging folks to go ahead and ask me questions on this one, because I know there might be some people here that aren't regular homebrewers. So go ahead and ask.